Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. It's nice to have everybody back. We are talking about the dome today. Now, hopefully people have had a look in the video information. I never know which side it's on. I think it's down this side. If you haven't had a look at that information, in there you'll see a link and it will take you to an article to the website and it will explain what it is that we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about the dome this morning. Hello to people joining us. We can see you there. The dome was basically an energetic structure, and I'm summarizing it really briefly here. An energetic structure that was created by the Zetas to protect a space from which they were working with in, near Sydney in Australia back in 2013. We obviously find that interesting in its absolute own right, but I find it absolutely fascinating because when we start talking about it, it links to other things that we hear from other encounters, like the aerial school encounter, and like Rendlesham being one of my favorites. If you haven't heard of Rendlesham by now, you really must go and look that up. It's basically the UK equivalent to Roswell, and I've been.
But much, maybe a bit smaller.
yeah, and they didn't crash, but it's kind of the same significance level. So do look that up if you don't know about it. Anyway, I'm going to.
Do you think that you should show them the picture of the dome so that people will a picture of the landscape of rather than so people?
Yes.
Yeah. So
we could do that, or do you want to talk about it now?
Well, yeah. So you put the
first
picture
thing.
up.
All right. Okay. So let's go
to there.
We're going to. Okay. We haven't used StreamYard for a while. Okay.
This
so we're going to be a bit clunky. Yeah. So here we go. All right. So William wrote an article about the dome.
Yeah.
And this is an image taken from his article.
So basically, it says the figure 2 measured the edge of the dome in red and extrapolated complete boundaries in white. Now, if you have a look at that, on the left-hand side within the red area, it is that's a massive property. It's like 25 acres. And if you give me the mouse, I'm not sure will people be able to see the mouse at all?
I don't know.
You don't know, yeah. But we're just in front of the second house at the bottom of the red line. A craft actually landed there as well.
Yeah, more up in the corner though.
Yeah,
top left corner.
Up here, but I'm not sure if anyone can see that. But that's basically the size of this dome that we're discussing at this point. Right, so
and maybe just point out where the sitting rooms were.
Well, the sitting rooms is that structure right here.
Yeah, because that will become relevant.
We're not sure, so we'll just click back.
That's
there you go. So we're back. We don't know if you could see that or not, but if you rewatch the video, you'll be able to see it.
Well, hopefully you can see it. Bam! Could you see the picture? Let us know.
Yeah, right. So basically, I thought it's really good to sort of give some scale to this.
Yeah.
So if I say dome 1, I'm talking about a craft dome. If I say dome 2 is what's called a pulse that's aimed at blocking specific frequencies, and I'll be talking about that later on. And dome 3 is a field, what is around a craft when it's in flight. All right. So basically, that picture that was created there by, William, yeah, but it's not really a picture. It's just an outlay or a structure. What happened is that there was a sitting that took place in Sydney, and it was supposed to go over the actual processes going across 10 days. And without knowing it, a craft came, and I can never have invited one or anything, but it came anyway. And we started to have a lot of strange things happening. And we could all sense this field, like a electromagnetic field. Even if you were inside it, you could still feel it. But initially it was only just, because if you saw the picture, there was only a few amount of meters that you could walk towards the buildings, and then you'd be inside them. But as the days progressed, basically the dome just got bigger and bigger and bigger until ultimately it encompassed the whole, basically nearly the whole property.
It went over the house in the end.
It went over the house. There's a story about that, but people were saying, "What's this pressure I can feel if I walk up to, say, there's an area of land and you don't tell anybody what's there, and you tell them, no, just go walk over there and just have a look at the trees or whatever, the flowers." People get to this certain line on the ground that they can't see, and next thing you know, they're pushing to try to get through this thing.
Yeah.
Not that much pressure, but enough where it felt like that there was a level of compression or compressed air or something between from one distance to the other. So whether 1 meter or 2 meters. And we started to realize that something was going on. And I spoke to the Zetas about it, and they said, "Oh, there's a craft over the back." I said, "Oh, okay." Sort of just didn't really worry about it. But somebody who was there, and there were a lot of people there, but all of a sudden, the group of people that were there started to develop migraines.
Yeah.
And 2 other people who were hundreds of meters away from the dome, started to have problems walking and fell up against a fence. So that created another problem as well.
Why were they having migraines, and why did they fall against the fence?
Well, for the 10 or so people that told me that they were having migraines, the dome wasn't basically resonating at the correct frequency.
It hadn't been
calibrated, and so we had to speak to the Zetas in a contact situation, and they modified it, and within seconds people's migraines stopped, or headaches stopped as well.
Is that the same time where the person who was couldn't sleep for 3 days?
Yeah, that's so funny. So this person was saying, "I don't believe in aliens. I'm not interested. I don't want to know anything about it." And I said, "That's fine. I'm quite happy for you not to believe in aliens. I don't like talking about them a lot either." And so the person was trying to go to sleep, and I said to them the next day, "Oh, how'd you sleep?" "Oh, I couldn't sleep." "Oh, okay." Second day, I said, "How'd you sleep?" "Well, I haven't been to sleep." So they've gone for 48 hours without any sleep.
Yeah.
Third day comes. I need to be able to sleep, the person says. So I said, "Okay." So I spoke to the Zetas, and they pulled the edge of the dome back from that part of the house so that the person actually could sleep solidly from that point onwards.
I'm going back now. I don't know whether you guys can see my mouse hovering over this circle, but this is where the dome was at that point. And you're saying that the dome expanded and took in that house that you can see in the top left corner of the picture. So that person was trying to sleep there. So that is quite a. What do you reckon that?
Oh, it's got to be at least 60 to 70 meters from the house to that white dot in the middle.
Yeah.
And as we said, if people could tell us if they can actually see that.
Well, Pam said, this is on you. She said she could see the picture.
It's not visible.
But okay, all right.
Oh, the mouse isn't.
The mouse isn't visible. Okay, well, you can see the house up in the
Thanks,
top corner.
John. Appreciate it. Just go back to us. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. But you can still see the red line. Maybe it's not that clear. Oh, we don't know. All right. Well, let's continue on then.
So, okay.
So, what's the purpose basically of the energy of the dome?
Like why was it there?
Because it created, the first thing was it created a difference. So if there's a craft and the Zetas wanted to come out of the craft, they wanted to be able to walk into their own energetic environment that was also paired with the human frequency as well. So rather than just having to exist within the normal 3-dimensional framework and biosphere, they created a mixture of an entity that humans could exist in, and the Zetas as well. The second thing was, you had a question?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay. So the second thing was that the dome was providing protection for them as well, and this actually, it had a dampening field within it, to reduce people's capacity to act psychically against the Zetas as well.
That's interesting.
If they chose to, which would have been a little bit unfortunate. The next one was that there was a lot of energy associated with the dome, and they were able to build and compress energy inside the dome for the sittings so they could show themselves. But the thing was that the dome grew exponentially. Every few minutes it would move about a centimetre or something, or whatever. And so ultimately it didn't take long for it to start to grow out. And this was because it seemed to be, because we can only hypothesize in regards to this, that it was to do with the actual field around the craft creating that exponential increase in the dome.
Now, that was what my question was going to be. So the dome was creating a safe space between the craft at the center and the sitting space.
Sitting space was inside the dome.
Yeah. So the dome encompassed everything. And so the Zetas could walk around.
Yeah.
Now, this is not the same occasion where the craft, or was it the same time the craft landed and you had the 20 people there and they
this is completely.
This is a different.
No, wait a minute.
Or is it the same?
Within that 10-day period,
okay.
a second craft came and actually landed.
Yeah.
And when the craft landed, as people may have read, the Zetas came out of the craft and walked around.
Yeah.
About 20 people.
And that's the photograph of the ring mark that was left behind afterwards.
Yeah.
Which was in that area that we've just seen.
There you go.
We should add that in there.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, maybe. Just for reference. Okay. So I was just clarifying which.
Yeah. Well,
which
some of these things are a bit hard to work out the time frames. Another thing is people say to me, well, if those people were there, why don't they come forward and speak? It's up to them to do that, but some people have.
Yeah.
Other people are quite happy to talk about it and talk about what they experienced. And then, of course, we get the one is why don't you use your iPhone to take pictures? if I could actually think at that point in time, I probably would do that. Do you remember the last time the craft came? I was told before the craft came to get my phone out and to press the record button, knowing that once the craft had come, we wouldn't have had any ability to actually think.
Well, I couldn't even move.
Yeah,
I was absolutely. Yeah. I was borderline unconscious at that point. I could hardly stay awake. It was incredible.
Right.
So William wrote the article, and he and a few others experienced the wall of the dome. They felt it, and if I'm reading it correctly, it felt like they passed through the wall. And so rather than passing into a space through an energetic, I don't want to use the word barrier, but an energetic.
Barrier, yeah.
Okay, I'll use the word barrier. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when we had a small craft come and sit over the garden for a few days, and we took a photo of it, which is exciting to actually capture something. And when we invited some people round, and when they walked underneath it, they
wanted to fall over.
They nearly fell in the.
Yeah, but they wanted to fall over.
They nearly fell in the pool because that's where it was. It was over the pool, and so they didn't know where it was. Okay, so we told them just to walk around until they could feel an energetic change, because we realised that underneath the craft was this it was about a meter wide, wasn't it? This bizarre change of energy, like a column of energy. Not that you could see it, but you could feel it. And you found it because you nearly fell in the pool.
No, it's a different place.
I'm talking about the one over the craft.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the one down the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
We've had a few.
Okay.
And so you nearly fell into the pool. Then we invited some friends round, and we asked them to have a walk around to see if they could feel anything. Well, they both nearly lost their balance and fell over because they came across this energy change that was coming down.
And the ground was undulating like
it had gone all spongy. It was quite very interesting.
There you go.
Just a normal everyday
Yeah.
occurrence.
So we'll get back to this.
What did it protect them from? What did this dome protect against specifically?
Astral, the astral fabric.
Okay.
They didn't want anything of an astral nature, because the astral fabric is a mirror image of everything that's physical, but they didn't want to have any astral imagery or fabric within inside that dome space. So basically, because of the frequency, they were able to disassociate the astral from within that area as well. So there would be nothing that would be amplified within that state that could come from the astral into that dome area.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon that for them to do that anyway.
Yeah. You've got a couple of things.
Yeah, I got some questions there. Did the dome protect the Zeta beings from both natural and artificial electromagnetic processes? Well, yeah, I just said that it protected people from everything. Inside that dome, healings were done as well, and gateways were opened, and it also shielded humans from reptilians as well. There you go. So it was a good space to be in, nice and clear, good energy, quite strong.
I think everybody needs a dome.
We all need a dome. So we've got a question.
Yeah.
Click on show and it'll pop up.
There we go.
Is it because the astral energies are negatively disruptive? That's a very good question. They don't have to be negative, but they can be disruptive. That's the other thing. So let's say you're sitting in a room, but you're able to see into the astral or part of the astral. This means that your visual range is being affected by other energies. Now, if you've wanting to, say, speak to spirits, what you don't want, because spirits do not exist in the astral, only imagery or ghost images appear in the astral. What you don't want is the astral bleeding into your abilities, which is to be able to speak or work with spirit people. And so the Zetas themselves also made sure that they blocked that astral framework from within the dome as well. All right. But that was a good question. Thanks. So how did William detect the resistance of the dome as he walked along the edge? Now, this is also in the article as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a book that we've written called The Cosmology, and William describes his information in there as well. So some people felt pressure, other people fell over, and some people had migraines.
Yeah.
But I just want to segue back to when the other craft landed in the other place. Before the craft landed, I was told that when the craft had landed and then left, that there would be a doorway from the center of where the craft would land to the outer edge. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I went down there to where this craft was going to land, and they said, oh, this is where the central point. And just if you turn around and go a specific way, about this wide, it was only about a foot across, you'd be able to sideways walk out from there. And I thought, that's really strange. Why would they need to tell me that? I thought, okay, well, I'll just try and remember it. So craft comes, they come out, they walk around, people have their experiences, whatever they are. And then a few days later, probably a week, some people turn up and people are a little bit excited because the craft's landed. And then what happened was somebody walked down there and I heard this voice saying, I'm trapped, I can't get out. And I thought, what do you mean you're trapped, you can't get out? So I've walked over to them and they've got their hands up as if they're stuck inside a tube, right? And they said, they've got their hands up and they're pushing, they go, I can't get out. And I went, you're the person. And so I said, turn, stop. now walk sideways, and they started to, and instantly they could walk straight sideways out of the craft, out of the craft area.
Now that was 10 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah,
that was 10 years ago. Now,
yeah,
was it two years ago? We were back down in that place, in that location,
yeah,
at near Sydney, and we'd run a couple of workshops. And before one of them, we had invited everybody over to where the craft had landed, and we got them to walk around and just sense the energy, sense for any changes in the energy. And there were, I think it was 3 or 4 people all lined up along that
corridor,
energetic corridor from 10 years ago. The residual energy is still there at the craft site. It's very intriguing.
Oh, we've had people go down there and sit there and do meditations and you know, other ranges of activities. People, but some people have walked in there even years later and said, "I can't stand here. I have to leave."
Yes.
Now, whether that's, you know, psychosomatic or whatever, you know, it still is a cause with some effect, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
All righty. So basically, the question is, what did the Zeta beings say about the sensations felt by the author near the dome? They said that there was going to be sleeplessness, dizziness, and they were going to try to do some materialization in red light, which I'm pretty sure you would have seen that as well as other people as well, inside the sitting areas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Frequently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
It's always good.
Yeah. So what's the next ones here? How did the author and the companion feel when they approached the dome near the main house? How did they feel? Did you read that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't read that?
What are you talking about particularly?
Well, when William was walking up and he said he felt very unstable as he walked through the dome.
Yeah. They said that's exactly what they experienced. They felt the dizziness as they approached it, and it's it's how you feel. Supposedly, that's what happens. Like the people nearly falling into the pool in the back garden when we had the craft overhead. When the craft are here, it has some unfortunate side effects, like the birds will all become very confused,
disorientated, and bang into the glass.
We'll have multiple birds flying into the windows, which is sad. You know, it really affects the animals around the property as well. They will howl continuously, and bark pretty much for the whole time it's here.
Was the dome calibrated during that event in 2014? It wasn't calibrated correctly, but it needed to be recalibrated when some people started to fall over. That's it.
Yeah.
And then when the other people had migraines. How far did the measured edge of the dome extend along one side of the event? Well, if we go back to the image, which is here, I believe.
That's the one.
Yeah. And if everybody can see that circle, that's a fairly large area. From the edge of the red line there to, say, the dot, you're looking at least 40 to 45 meters.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
From the corner of...
Oh, even more, actually. That's a lot more than that, isn't it?
I was going to say, from the corner of one property across the yard area there.
Right to there. That's probably about 70, 80 meters.
But to walk from the house to the buildings is going to take a good couple of minutes to walk across there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right. Okay. So it was basically a really big dome, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger because the craft stayed in the same place and it was dematerialized. Question: how did the Zeta beings' dematerialized bodies utilize the dome protection during the seances? Well, this is the discussion where we talk about the visual ranges of humans. Now, I was speaking to the AIs this morning about this because I needed to try to work out some way, and if anyone's very good at maths, they can do the same type of calculations. I said to the one AI, if the if the light spectrum was 1,000 meters wide, all right, what would be the human's ability to see within that light spectrum? And it said 1 meter, and I said, "Pardon?
So say that again.
What do you mean 1 meter?" So
if the human range of vision was represented as a mile.
No. If the light spectrum from, say, gamma through to AM, right, was represented in meters and it was 1,000 meters wide, right?
Yeah.
What's the meterage that a human can see with their eyes within that light spectrum? And the AI said 1 meter.
That's crazy.
And I thought to myself, are you telling me that there's 999 meters
worth
of light spectrum that we can't see in? And the AI said yes. And I thought to myself, okay, this is interesting, because if we can only see within 1 meter, who knows what's 2 meters away outside of that? So 1 meter for you, but say just even a centimeter outside of that light spectrum that you can see in. Are we talking about seeing into the astral? Are we talking about seeing distortions? Are beings that are still physical but are vibrating differently, totally outside of the spectrum? So I thought,
that's bonkers.
Now remember, if anyone does maths, I'm quite happy for you to comment and say my maths is completely wrong, and we'll definitely talk to ChatGPT about that. So what I did was I then went to the Bing AI and gave it the same questions, and it came up with the same calculations. So I thought to myself, well, I'll talk about it, but I won't say that it's factual or anything, because the AI does make mathematical mistakes. It did give me all the formulas as well.
Yeah, that's
all right.
We know the Zetas have said multiple times that in order to be seen or not be seen, all they do is just adjust their frequency.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
Right.
Crazy.
All right. And by the way, you can ask questions if you want. It's fine.
Yeah, you don't need to ask questions on topic. I meant to say that at the beginning.
Oh, on topic. Okay.
On topic, off topic.
Off topic. Okay. How did the Zetas communicate with me and other attendees during the sittings? Interesting question, because at one point 3 of them were walking around the house inside, and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and they had woken a couple of people up, and that ended up that someone came and said to me, "Oh, you need to, there's extraterrestrials walking around." And so I've obviously woken up, and I was like, okay. So actually, no, initially I was like, no, I don't want to get up. I just couldn't be bothered. But anyway, then when I did get up, I ended up sort of going to a craft with a couple of those beings. But interestingly, I would have thought that those people that had seen the extraterrestrials were actually in a slight altered state.
I think they'd have to be in a slight altered state.
They were sort of, I don't want to say compelled, because that's not, like that, not a good way to say it, but they definitely were in an altered state to be able to experience that. Yep. All right, there you go. So that was definitely interesting. They came in and they would talk, and of course there was lots of clicking, telepathic communication as well. Did the Zeta beings explain their connection to the venue and what their interaction was? Yes, we knew that they were there because they had come to speak through me to the group of people that were there, and there were a lot of people there that wanted to hear what the Zetas had to say. Were there any discussions about the long-term effects or implications of the dome's presence? I think once it was recalibrated, that they worked out that they could fix up any problems with it, so that was okay as well.
When when they came over the last time to the same venue, when we were in Sydney, they did those 10 healings.
Right.
Would there have been a dome or an energetic something or other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would have been the same process.
Yeah. So when you're inside the dome, and you could even liken it to a synthetic quantum environment.
And that was my next question.
They're able to. This is very interesting. So let's say a person's laying down and they've come for healing, and the people are inside the dome. Generally, their etheric body is lifted up off their physical body, and that etheric body is actually taken onto the craft.
Yeah.
And then it's modifications take place to the etheric body, and then you see it come back down and reacclimate with the physical form.
Yeah, we had a few people on that particular occasion. They'd come in for healing, and after they came back round, because I think they put into an altered state during those 10, 15, 20 minutes. They were sitting up bolt upright going, I've just been on a craft, and we're like, yeah, we know. We saw you go up and we saw you come back. Yeah, it's
right.
Very interesting.
Well, we've come to the end of our questions. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a note about Rendlesham there.
Okay, what do you want to say about Rendlesham?
Rendlesham's really interesting because if you listen to Jim Penniston talking, he talks about seeing a light dome a dome of light over the top of the craft, over the top of the wooded area in which the craft was located. And he talks about encountering he doesn't use the word field. He says he actually said he thought he wasn't going to make it because his whole body had slowed down and he felt as if he was walking through water as he approached the craft whilst he was within that domed area. And that would be the compression, would you say?
That's wow. Is that the compression? Well, this is why I said there were three domes. One's a field.
One's a field, yeah.
Yeah, and so if it's a field that's being projected by a craft, that can be used for them to walk around in, or it can actually be a reflection of the technology within the craft.
Okay, well, it's interesting because he says when he approached the craft, initially he saw it as all these bright lights, and then those bright lights faded back, and he saw the actual craft that was behind all the lights, as if it was emitting a field of immediate light surrounding it.
Would be interesting to walk up to the craft, having experienced other domes, and see if there was a direct reflection of the experience from that to this as well. But
the aerial school kids, when you listen to them talking about how they witnessed the craft landing, they talk about seeing the beings walking near to the craft and around the craft. And some of them describe seeing them walking extremely fast, like super fast. And then other children said they were walking as if in slow motion. The closer they got to the craft, I believe they said, the slower their walking gait became.
Yeah. That sounds like
another field.
Space-time compression.
Within
remembering that if it's 1 second for us, it's 10 seconds for them. So I guess that's one way to explain it. There could be a lot of other ways to explain that as well. Just so that you know, I've been reading a lot of social media comments where people are predicting extraterrestrial disclosure in 2027, 2026, and these sorts of things. I think that'd be very interesting, wouldn't it?
Are they predicting human disclosure or extraterrestrial
No, they're saying
disclosure?
the ET are going to come, but I mean, it's just like everything else, the year 2000, the 2012 situation, all these things, these constant predictions for things that are going to happen that never actually do. It's very interesting. But John's got a question there.
I didn't see that.
Does this dome affect the measurement of time
or the perception
of it?
But by the people within the dome, he wrote underneath. If you if they have a
You could answer
I was
that
going to
question.
say, if it's akin to an SQE environment, synthetic quantum environment within the domed area, then there is massive potential for a person's perception to be altered, in the sense that solid things no longer look solid. They can look very, very fluid. It's always interesting, the passing of time when you're in any kind of sitting environment. It doesn't matter whether you're with the Zetas or our spirit friends. You know, what can be an hour can seem to pass in a few minutes. So we have to keep strict an eye on the time very strictly, because it can pass very quickly for us. We've experienced time issues within an SQE.
What about stretching?
Yeah. So yeah,
when a person seems to be 3 times taller than they are.
Exactly that. So like when we're sitting, sometimes Paul's physical body looks like it's been stretched right up to the ceiling, or it shoots right off to the side, or goes another way. I was thinking about the time thing where we lost but then gained an hour
missing
within
time.
the SQE. So absolutely. Yeah.
Well, imagine if it's like a holodeck, that it doesn't matter what goes on in there, you're going to think that it's real, or you're going to experience it as though it's real.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe the human mind doesn't have the capacity to actually pull itself back from the experience. It becomes fully immersed in the experience because it's totally surrounded by it and it doesn't know any different. And if no one's there to alert you of the fact that you're inside this type of environment, then you'll believe that you are. And this is what the Zetas have always said, that if you're inside a synthetic quantum environment, you will not know, and you cannot know that you're inside one.
Yeah. Well, we've experienced the Arcturians changing our perception of the way we hear music. Like a tune that would be really familiar to us, that we listen to all the time, became so distorted that we didn't even recognize it. And you remember that? And the ceiling fan that was on seemed to be going super, super fast on the low setting. And it wasn't going any faster than it should be. But for a split few seconds, it seemed to just be going around like a crazy thing. So your perception of time and the way you perceive things definitely can be altered. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right, there you go.
There's more questions or comments. I can't quite read them.
What have we got here? We've got Chris Bledsoe talks in a book about UFO God about the light being, he calls a lady that told him apparently something going to happen in 2026. Yeah, I saw a few comments about that as well. And guess what? We just have to wait. That's all we've got to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all we've got to do. And I'm sure that you'll get thousands of other people with multiple predictions as well. And just like 2012, when the Zetas were saying that nothing was going to happen except a few energy shifts, but people were predicting the end of everything or the ascension. I'm not sure, because we had a wide range of people predicting, all sorts of catastrophes. That when it doesn't happen, those people will continue to make predictions as well. Yeah,
well, we're still all pretty solid at this point.
We
haven't
think we are anyway. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was good being here, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye-bye.